partner is National Agricultural Research Organization, and I'm sure my senior soil scientist will make a detailed presentation on this. So one of the activities is that we've been carrying out capacity building. We are giving training before planting and also before harvesting. In this picture, move forward, just move forward. In that very one, we have field teams trained in the basics of trial establishment and management, as well as harvesting. Next, like I said, we are trying to work out fertilizer recommendation, but more so focusing on the ballast fertilizer. So we've been doing some blending work, mainly at Uganda, culture, research labs, and in the picture you can see how we try to do the blending. We are trying to assemble the fertilizers for the field trials. It's quite a big team, and the arrangement of narrow. Yes, the team is quite big. We have field facilitators who help us at the ground level. And so these are the people who give the training so that they are able to understand the process, the activities of the things they are doing. And of course we have been having some joint monitoring activities of field trials by some of our international staff. And recently on PEP 6, we had a stakeholder workshop to engage with the fertilizer industry stakeholders, and I'm glad that some of the faces that attended this meeting are already here. And so this is the way to go, because we know that addressing the challenges of soil fertility and fertilizer using species in Uganda requires concerted efforts. And of course, like I've said, the key stakeholders in Uganda are NAWID, NARO, private sector, who you've already seen some of the displays of our partners in the industry. So I really want to thank you for listening. We have quite a lot that we hope to achieve. We are just at the beginning stage of the project, and we hope that we will be able, once the research bit is done, then we're going through the scaling out. That's when we can have more money for try to scale out the findings, project findings for the project. I want to thank you all for listening, and welcome your questions. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Matthew. Any questions for this presentation? Any comments? Yeah.
For the good presentation, and I like the work that you are doing. Unfortunately, we have to celebrate our efforts and one of our stakeholders that is the government. Can you talk about the situation, how much is being spent on fertilizers in Uganda and what is the expected return?
Thank you very much. At the moment, the blending that we are doing is really to come up with the ratios for our treatments. So once we've come up with the promising ratios, and we are able to recommend the different fertilizer blends, then part of the strategy to go large scale is now to engage with Rain Pulse and any other stakeholder. Okay, but what we are doing now is really to come up with the ratios for our treatments. And I can tell you that we have about 20 treatments, but we hope that from this array of 20 treatments, we shall come up with the very best for a particular crop, for a particular agroecological zone. Then those are the ones that we shall recommend for scaling up. I thank you. I must emphasize that we are still in the research phase. That's why then at times we can sneak through the farmers' fields and we start doing our work. And we've been getting questions from farmers that how shall we know what you are doing? But we realize that it is still at a low, at scientific level, because even if you were to take farmers to our trials now, it can be very hard to explain, because 19 treatments, you can hardly separate the effects at their level. So we want to come up with the recommendations, then those are the ones that we shall demonstrate and then scale out. Thank you.
Right, thank you, Mr. Kulu. Any other question, response, remark, addition? Okay, thank you.
In Uganda, I rear my ducks and I grow cabbages. Just using the words of Bahida Otafire. Time come, love desire grow. So, okay, that was the topic which was given to me, is nutrient use efficiency. So you realize that we have spiced it scientifically, and it's well known that scientists, we are very poor communicators. So that's the topic which was given to me, nutrient use efficiency in the Uganda context. I try to domesticate it. So why nutrient use efficiency? Second, we will realize that agricultural production and productivity is low in Uganda, and it is partly attributed to nutrient mining. We don't use fertilizers. People will come here and tell you they are using fertilizers, but our national average should be less than 4 kilograms of nutrients per hectare per year. Organics, people will confuse you that they are applying organics. They are not doing so.
because when you from the agricultural survey which was carried out, the last one, fertilizers, organic and inorganic, are applied on less than 5% of the agricultural parcels of land. That's from Ubos. So nutrients are lost. So, next one. Within the National Development Plan 3 of the government of Uganda, we are supposed to contribute to improve agricultural production and productivity. It is a development objective. And agro-industrialization is a government goal. And you always hear the president is talking us about agro-industrialization. We are not going to agro-industrialize unless we increase production. So what do we do? Fertilizer, next slide. Next. Fertilizer use is a critical component of intensive and sustainable agricultural systems, allowing greater production. It has a potential impact once we increase the yield, malnutrition, whatever has been said, and we shall increase the exports of strategic commodities. Farmers, our fertilizer use, unfortunately, you see, there is an interrelationship between nutrient use efficiency and fertilizer use efficiency. So I'll give you the difference. So they produce very little grain or any produce for each kilogram of fertilizer applied. So it depends on how you want to use to define. Do you want to use your fertilizer to increase production, or do you want to improve the quality of the product? That's when we go for nutrient use efficiency. We apply fertilizers, part of it goes into the grain, some of the nutrients goes into the stover, which will be fed by the livestock. When the livestock are fed on high quality stover, they will produce high quality manure for soil fertility management. So that's the difference between nutrient use efficiency and fertilizer use efficiency. It depends on your production goal. So as the Kule has already mentioned, that's the distribution of the work we are doing. I don't need to repeat it. Previously, we have intensive research in 7 agro-ecological zones. I really thank IFDC for inviting NARO to participate in this work. Because when you go to, and the donor definitely, our development partner, because when you go to the National Development Plan, we have a fertilizer policy and a fertilizer strategy. Improving fertilizer formulation, generating recommendations, going for specific fertilizer recommendation, fertilizer blends is a key output within the fertilizer strategy. So we are very grateful you are addressing a national priority. Thanks very much. I have to thank you for much. The blends are there, but the private sector, we are supposed to lead the private sector. But now it is us following the private sector to improve on the formulation. Because when you apply a wrong fertilizer, the nutrient use efficiency will go down. One time I was asked by the Honorable Minister of Agriculture that some fertilizers are bad. Then I had to tell him that the fertilizers are bad if they are not balanced. We hope from this work we shall contribute information to the private sector to produce fertilizers of the right formulation. Next. Those are the two definitions. The nutrient use efficiency. The plant takes up nutrients and utilizes them to produce optimum yield. So we have uptake, assimilation, and utilization of those nutrients. But in agriculture, we are mainly interested in the fresh weight per unit nutrient applied. So depending, the nutrition people are more interested in assimilation. The agronomists, they are after the increase in crop production. So those are the two. Next. So the agronomic, which is normally the agronomic efficiency. How are they applied nutrients increase grain or biomass yield? So it is for nitrogen, it ranges between 10 to 30 kilograms of grain per kilograms of nitrogen applied. So then after that, we have recovery efficiency, and let me not bother you so much with the science. The recovery efficiency, how much fertilizer you apply, does it appear in the plant, so that we take care of the environmentalists. Then physiological efficiency, how is it portioned? Some of the fertilizer will end up in the environment, others will end up in the produce. So the partial efficiency is normally 30 kilograms to 60 per kilograms of nutrient applied. It is very significant. Nutrient use efficiency is very important. It's affected by fertilizer management, including the quality, the soil types, and irrigation. Due to the increased demand of fertilizer and the effect of the Russia-Ukraine war, fertilizer prices skyrocketed. So there is a need to improve nutrient use efficiency. But you will see later, nutrient use efficiency is always higher with low fertilizer application rate, at a low fertilizer application rate, which compromises the ecosystem. Because normally fertilizer response follows that the curve like a law of diminishing returns. At a lower rate, you get a very good response. You get a very good agronomic efficiency, fertilizer efficiency, and nutrient use efficiency. But you have not reached the optimum production. Sometimes we compromise ourselves. Let's go for fertilizer efficiency because people need food. The government is committed to go to do agro-industrialization. So that's where we call in the breeders to produce germplasm with higher nutrient use efficiency. So our nutrient use efficiency in Uganda, like other sub-Saharan Africa, is very low because the soils are depleted, there are no nutrients, and our farmers have abandoned recommended agronomic practices. Fertilizer efficiency is low. We don't have appropriate fertilizer recommendation. Farmers' aspects are not taken for. And also we lack guidelines for proper use. The recommendation, we cannot say that we still have blanket recommendations. We improved on the recommendations. It's just because of lack of information flow. From the research, through extension, to the stakeholders down. So the blanket recommendation were produced in 1976, but NARO has been in existence already. We have been generating recommendations. NARO approved them. So we need to disseminate that information. So when it comes to nutrient use efficiency, it is a very bad, sad story. Nitrogen is the most limiting nutrient. Because as it is the most limiting nutrient, it has relatively the best nutrient use efficiency. Next slide. Nitrogen has 50%, phosphorus is 15%, and the potassium 40%. Trace elements, they are a mere 5%. It is a very sad story. When it comes to our countries, because of poor crop growth, poor agronomic practices. Next slide, I'm already far ahead of you. So you realize we have to improve on the nutrient use efficiency through managing, having the right fertilizers next on the market. Go to maize, use efficiency to 40%. The work we did in eastern Uganda, achieved areas of which have high production potential, like the Mount Elgon Islands, the Queen. But when you go to Palisa, the nutrient use efficiency was almost Okay, the nutrient use efficiency is very low for cereals, 30 to 40%. Where does the rest of the nitrogen goes to? Phosphorus is 15%, potassium 40%. Where does the rest of the nutrients go? And this guy, when we were making recommendation, a person said, I was talking to one of my colleagues, why do you have low nitrogen in a fertilizer? Yet, a plant has to be satisfied with nitrogen first. Then phosphorus become limiting, it will be then potassium, and then you lastly come with your trace elements. So we need to improve the nutrient use efficiency so that we can have more production. Calculate, let me not bother you with the nutrient use. How to calculate? We normally conduct trials like what we are currently doing under S2P. So from the result from those trials will be used to calculate the nutrient use efficiency of different formulation. Dr. Byabagambi, you raised that question. We are working with Green Pulse. We had a stakeholders workshop where all fertilizer blending companies were invited, and we got the ideas which we adopted in our implementation. Because when you look at the structure of the treatments, there's where we have a course, we omit the secondary and trace elements, we keep on changing. We like the rates for high production areas are higher compared to the rates for the low production areas. So we hope when we come out, we shall come out something. So how do we handle nutrient use efficiency? As I've said, in the short term, you can increase nutrient use efficiency by operating at the lower level of the fertilizer response curve. But you are not maximizing production. And as you don't apply enough nutrients, it means you are mining the soils in the long run. So we have to get a compromise. So how do we get a compromise? We consider the production objective of the farmer, and we, the scientists, what do we want to achieve? Let's consider the management practice so that we improve on the nutrient and fertilizer efficiency. So the best management practice, like for example, when you apply fertilizers, you apply that, we normally do it along the 4 hours. Is it the right fertilizer for your crop? Lucky enough here in Uganda now, we have crop-specific fertilizers. It is a development in the fertilizer sector. Then, how much does that crop need? Then, what is the application rate? Tailor the application rate and the formulation basing on the crop need. People are applying NPK 17, 17, 17 for whatever crop, yet that formulation is for sugarcane. So there's a lot of limited knowledge across. And also, how do you apply the time? You find guys promoting foliar fertilizers. At midday, the farmers put on a knapsack sprayer, applying foliar fertilizers. It's too hot. All the fertilizers are evaporating, fertilizing. So there's no lack of knowledge. When should you apply the fertilizer? And it is good that within the S2P, we shall have numerous trainings to improve, to build the capacity. So as I've said, nutrient use efficiency depends on the entire system. But the type of, actually, you'll bear with me, I'm a soil scientist. When I talk of nutrient use efficiency, fertilizer, I don't care whether it is organic or inorganic. Whatever you want to use, but we normally recommend integration of the two, so that we can increase also the climate, the soils, because the nutrient use efficiency is very high on a soil which is high in organic matter. A soil with a good pH. The nutrient use efficiency is very low on sandy soils because of the water moves very fast, and it goes with the fertilizer management or nutrient management in a sandy soil is completely different. The way you manage your soils in a clay soil. So, we need a very good root system It's product volume to look for. Nutrients, split application, people in the mountains. Too much, like if you are observant, when we get too much rain, like last season, above average, all the maize and all the cereals will be yellow. Yet farmers applied fertilizers. Some, because all the nitrogen was reached. So the strategy they should have used, especially when we link weather forecast with agronomic management, fertilizer management, let them apply fertilizers in more speeds. That's when, if economics can, very good, we should go for that. We have several tools. We have slow nitrogen fertilizers, because when you apply fertilizers, okay, you realize that when you apply fertilizers, the soil organisms, especially the microbes, they need those nutrients. They are very active. They take part of that. So we need also to control the mineralization. So as we have said, the fertilizer source is the key. Urea has a better fertilizer use efficiency, nutrient use efficiency, compared to sulfate of ammonia. One is 48, another one is 34. In a neat soil like the soils from Buyikwe, Busoga, to the mountains, we have almost 61% nutrient use efficiency. Go to the VAT source, because of water lodging, it is 28. So I can show you a study. Go ahead, very fast. My time is running out. I'll tell you, okay, next one. Next. So that's a study we used using high technology. That's isotope technique. That's N15. You realize the percentage, the fertilizer uptake, which can transit. Thanks very much for concluding. Can we go back to that? That one. So my time is up, I think. You can look at the two systems. Bulegeni, that's the highlands. Kibale, in the case of farming systems. The amount of nitrogen taken up, with and without P, is far higher, 30% compared to 15% in the raw productivity area. So this is how nutrient use efficiency is affected by the nature of the soils. People who believe in organics, look at the mukuna. Mukuna is a crop which is used in soil fertilizer management. It has a lot of nitrogen, but only 21%. It can contain over 300 kilograms of nitrogen, but only 21% which is used. So those are the challenges we have. You see, because with this technology, we can distribute, we can trace how the fertilizers you applied go through the system. You realize, so the recovery is 96%, but most of the soils, most of the fertilizer remain in the soil. So those are the challenges. The recovery for organics is within 68%, but still what the plant took, only 23%. So that's when you need to design nutrient management strategy to utilize what remains in the soil. Next. So how do we achieve this? We advocate as the government with integrated soil fertility management, that which include the use of organic and inorganic inputs, preferably in their combination. You need an improved germplasm. That's why breeders have to work hand in hand with agronomists and the soil scientists. People applying 50 kilograms of DAP per acre, that's 125 kilograms per hectare, DAP at planting, and 125 kilograms of urea on maize at knee high. This is the same amount applied on Olonge 5 with a target of 5 tons of grain. They applied the same amount on what this Bazooka, the DT Max, with a target of 10 tons. You give the same amount of food. And then tomorrow, they said there was no response of Bazooka to the farmer because you didn't give it enough food. That's why you need to link germplasm with your agronomy and soil fertility management. Allow the farmers to adapt the practices to their local environment so that we can minimize agronomic use efficiency, nutrient use efficiency, fertilizer use efficiency. Because fertilizers are very expensive. Low nutrient use efficiency, low fertilizer use efficiency, low agronomic efficiency goes deep into the farmer's pocket. Farmers are not paid by the government like me. If they don't get back their investment, they are not going to use the technology. Here the problem is a lack of information by farmers. I think that's what I had to tell you. I would like to thank IFDC for inviting Kaizi to come here and also identifying Naro as a partner in this project. This is the mandate of Naro. You identified the right institution. One time I was asked, how do we take this information to uptake pathways? I told them that every quarter we produce reports which goes to the Prime Minister's office. And we are contributing to the NRM manifesto. So they have to read what we are producing. So you are collaborating with the government institution. We are working, as Kure said, the network is big. We are conducting over 600 trials. IFDC was doubting the capacity of Naro, but the research has been around for 150 years. That was my answer. Thanks very much. We are food soldiers. Just give us command. Allow us to adjust according to our local condition. Give us ration. We advance. Thanks very much.
Okay, thank you so much, Dr. Franima, for that elaborate. Dr. Franima for that elaborative input on fertilizer and soil health. I must admit that our sugar levels right now must be very low. However, our catering group just behind us are ready, just in case you feel you need to grab something, please feel free. However, we are not taking a break for that. We shall just do it at individual level, just walk behind and pick something. IT team, we are going to show a 1-minute video that will usher in our other presenter that will be presenting about our ongoing project that is Bright. IT team, thank you.
Mihanda titwini hanyuma ebintu nitubihimba kwija kwika mukatale tubona bwine
tukulima nk'ebirayi nitupima pisine hika muno hano arukubihayo gumwezi gumwibiri
tubaire tutakutunga buyambi mu gavumenti naito kutulimiraho enguudo ha Rusozi hati itwe nga abataka twacwamu twerimira oruguudo runo nefuka nuko tuleke kubonabona nga bakazi twa bakuzaara obu okuba noruma kugenda kuzaara nibakuhimba ha muti.
To add to the numerous benefits offered to farmers in the area, the collaborative initiative seeks to empower local farmers with cutting-edge farming methods and nutritional knowledge to elevate their livelihoods and contribute to the overall development of the region.
Kati nga project eno tugezaako okuyamba abantu n'okubasomesa engeri ki gye bayinza okuzza obugimu mu ttaka lyabwe nga bakozesa ebintu ebibeetoolodde, bakozesa ebintu nga obusa bw'enkoko, obusa bw'ente ate n'ebintu ebirala ebibeetoolodde.
Henk van Loon, the President IFDC, says the initiative comes in response to the challenges faced by farmers in highland areas, including unpredictable weather patterns, soil degradation, and limited access to modern farming techniques. All these challenges are expected to be mitigated.
Our BRIGHT project is to restore hilly slopes like you see behind me, to restore the erosion and to restore the topsoil. Because what is happening in most of these hilly areas is that we lose a lot of topsoil, and that creates soil degradation, but it also creates reduction of productivity. And that's why I'm very pleased to see here the community who take the solution in their own hands.
Abeera n'emmere emmala awaka ate nanga n'ebyendya awaka bibeera nga biri bulungi. Tusomesa abalimi bano mu ngeri y'okuba nga basobola okutunda bye balimye, tubayunga ku butale obw'enjawulo ate era tubateeka mu bibiina eby'enjawulo okusobola okubeera nga batunda mu bungi ebintu byabwe bye baba balimye.
According to Richard Rauhinga, the district chairperson, equipping farmers with the latest farming methods and nutritional education will enhance productivity, improve food security, and ultimately uplift the standard of living for communities.
Have the production improve these areas, and like you rightly say, one is for having food security, two is for economic reasons, to have the surplus food taken to the markets, and therefore increase on the household income.
The collaboration will also incorporate a focus on nutrition education, aiming to address malnutrition issues prevalent in the region.
People work with the teams to see how best to move on. One of our key slogans as a government of NRM is to introduce to improve the production and productivity of our people.
Henk van Duyn, the president of International Fertilizer Development Center, says local residents will receive guidance on cultivating and consuming a diverse range of nutrient-rich crops, promoting healthier dietary practices within the community.
Not only from a gender-balanced violence perspective, but also from an individual personal development perspective of women. And in the end, if we work together, we're able, and we see already in 1 year, 1.5 year time, here in this area, that there is already success and achievements which create direct impacts to reduce the runoff of rain, to reduce the loss of topsoil, and to increase productivity.
Some of these children not get the necessary nutrients to build their bodies, and more importantly, the brain. And this leads to stunted growth in some areas. So this intervention, upstream and downstream, are most likely to help us address that issue of stunting among our children, especially from 0 to 1 year and then 5 years, enable us have a healthy population, but also a productive population.
Duyn emphasized the organization's commitment to fostering sustainable agriculture and empowering local farmers.
Dear team, let's convene back. And at this juncture, I would like to recognize the presence of the Minister for Agriculture. Team at the back, kindly let's come back and we complete this program for the day. So as we move on, I would like to the team at the back, please, let's reconvene and we have this program done. Honorable Minister, it's a pleasure having you today. We are very grateful. But as we wait for the right project manager to make his brief presentation, I'd like to invite our country director to recognize the people whom we are having, but also to make his remarks. Sorry, CD, the PM has just come in. Apologies. At this juncture, I will invite Mr. Ibrahim Chiganira, the Bright project manager, to give us a brief overview of what the project is about. But in the folders that you're having, most of the information about Bright is there. There is a brochure. And in case you have any questions after his presentation, please feel free.
morning, IFDC. Our visitors, the different stakeholders, from the partners, our donors, the farmers we are working with, and the different cooperatives that we are supporting within our mandate as IFDC. I salute you all in your own due respect. My name is I'm going to be talking briefly about Bright project that we are implementing as IFDC. Bright project is running in 3 different regions here in Uganda, but the majority why we are presenting this is because of its standing when it comes to presenting the mandate that IFDC stands for here in Uganda. Bright stands for building resilience and inclusive growth of highland farming systems for rural transformation. Our target is to work with 560 smallholder farmers. You can go to the next slide. Yes, our target, we are working with 560 smallholder farmers, and we are mandated to transform 100 acres of land into sustainable farmland. Part of that, we identified 15 degraded landscapes. In terms of landscape, we refer to them as watersheds. Our definition of a watershed is a coverage of about 300 smallholder farming units. That defines our watershed. So we have about 15 watersheds which are prioritized that we are going to be transforming into a sustainable farmland. The project goals and intervention area, we want to drive resilient and inclusive economic development of highland farming communities. Bright is operating in highland farming communities, and this is the Chigezi region, and then we also operate in the Renzori region and the Elgon region. Those are the 3 regions where we operate, but the main reason why we are operating in those areas is to drive resilience of smallholder farming systems to different climatic and social shocks. Why we are prioritizing resilience is because the major issue why the smallholder farmers have different developmental and economic problems is because the driving forces of economics are defined by mainly the nature. You look at these farmers we are operating with, they are smallholder farmers, and the issues of climate change has happened to be more intense. You are looking at so much of the hazards in terms of the drought hitting them. So the only way we can incorporate these smallholder farmers into the money economy and also make their farming systems more sustainable is by driving resilience. And we are going to be doing this through enhancing sustainable land use and crop production, where we are also mainstreaming gender and social inclusion in everything that we are doing. So we are not leaving anyone behind because in a society, you don't forget that there are so many dynamics happening. There are the rich, there are the poor, there are the youth, there are the women, there are the men, but all of them operate within the same landscape. So if you introduce bracket methodologies, you realize that some of the groups are excluded. So that's why we have a strong component about inclusion and gender that calls on each and every person within the community to benefit from the interventions of Bright. This is showing the geographical coverage that Bright is. The next slide. Yes, the slide next is showing the geographical locations that Bright is operating in. In Renzori, showing the Budimbujo, Kabarore, Bunyangabo, and Kasese district. Then in Chigezi, we have Lukunjiri, Lubanda, Chisoro, and Kabale. Then when we go to Elgon region, we are talking about Bulambuli, Kapchor, Ronko, and then Mbale. Yes, those are the regions where we are operating. Our main approach, we are using a participatory methodology called PIP. PIP is a participatory integrated plan. This is where we call each and every person within the community. They sit and identify the challenges that facing their development plans and also district in the developments within the community. So these people plan together, identify the challenges, then plan for the possible solutions towards those challenges. We quite well informed and believe that within this methodology, when it's inclusive, it drives more adoption because it creates more buy-on between different farmers. Everyone feels like their idea was taken up and their challenges was considered. So that's our main entry point within the communities. But within that, we are driving a farming system approach. And not driving a single crop farming system. It means we take the whole farming system into consideration, different crops. Because currently we are prioritizing 4 value chains. That's banana, coffee, maize, and beans. Those are priority value chains. But also other value chains which are communities that we are operating. So all of them maybe like beans. The economic loss which is incurred in beans can be covered up by maize. Or if maize is hit by a landslide or somehow anything, then the economic loss gained in maize can be covered up by another crop given, maybe like coffee. So that's why we are operating within the entire farming system, because when you are driving resilience, there is, if any climatic shock hits one crop, then it means the farmer is going to be off for the next maybe 1 year in terms of the school fees to the kids, the food at the household level, and so the recovery cost is going to be high. So that's why in our approach, farming system at the center of everything, and through the farming system, then we introduce the participatory methodology that everyone within the community come together and we plan. So our overall progress, when we just wanted to highlight something, we are working within the description called the project villages. Project villages made up different civic villages, which may be like the LOC ones, which is about 2 to 4, according to the different population within the given civic village. So we combine about 3 to 4 different civic villages to make one project village. So the project village is on average 300 farming households. So Bright is operating with 232 project villages. Currently, we have 116 project villages because we are closing in our second year in June. So we have half of the target covered. So within those project villages, these are some of the progresses that we have made. And the nutrition agenda, which was presented here before, has been driven strongly there to see how nutrition is going to support the resilience of these smallholder farmers. We are supporting cooperatives. Those are 7 producer cooperatives, produce and markets cooperative, then 5 circles. Those are the savings and loan associations, the savings and credit. Those circles. So the credit circles support the produce and marketing cooperatives in the monetary aspects by lending them and also helping them to save. So those are some of the achievements that so far we have driven. But one of the strongest achievements that we have achieved as Bright is the cooperation and collaboration with different entities. The major reason why we are here, most of the stakeholder, is because of the different engagements that IFDC has driven and has built across the years. So part of that within Bright, we are working with other local implementing partners like Caritas. We are working with the Joint Effort for Save Environment. That's JSA, Africa 2000 Network, working with agribusiness and rural development solutions. We are working with Ubora, that's dealing in specialty coffee. But above all that, we have a strong collaboration with the Ministry of Agriculture here in Uganda, because that's where IFDC lies within its global mandate. Lastly, as Bright and as IFDC, we have a strong partner in the Kingdom of the Netherlands. They are the funder of the Bright project, and they have been our long-term funders for so many other projects that we have been running here in the country, and also outside Uganda as IFDC, as an organization. So it's the Netherlands Embassy is our strong partner that we're also working with under the Bright project. The next slide just wants to highlight some of the interventions that we drive under the participatory methodology. The first map describes how smallholder farmers community sit and visualize about the current status of their communities, identify the challenges, and reflect on where they would wish to be as a community if they want to have a sustainable and a resilient livelihood. Then the next map, they sit and say, okay, according to our visualization, this is where we want to go. They put that into a map, and then they start working towards that. So all the work plans, all the action plans are intended to drive the current map from this map to the last map. And that's what our mandate is. We want to drive all the communities from their current situation to the desired situation. And we are doing that in 232 project village, and each project village has an average of 300 households. So in a nutshell, that's what we wanted to present about Bright. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Ibrahim, for that presentation. At this juncture, I would like to call on the audience whether you have any questions, clarifications, or additions before Ibrahim leaves. Seems like that's it. Okay. Bright builds its background from IFDC previous project. The project was called REACH. And within 2 minutes, I would like to request one of our colleagues, Janet, to give us a presentation of how REACH reached the communities that we intended to reach out to, and how Bright Project builds on REACH work. Thank you. Within 2 minutes, please. Thanks.
Hello everyone. Once again, my name is Janet Namirembe Rukwago. I will not take much on that because we've been already introduced. You may wonder why we talk about programs that ended, but REACH did not only help to build Bright, but also the market systems development makes it possible for the results, for the impact, for the ripple effect to continue even after the program has ended. And that's why I want to talk about and how we achieve the impact even after it has ended. So what is REACH, may ask, as the presentation comes? A project that was implemented in Uganda from between 2016 and 2021. And it was standing for, REACH stands for Resilience Agribusiness Chains. It was still funded by the Embassy of the Netherlands. So when Mr. Josephat says they made us of the embassy, please, really bad. And then REACH. So here I'm talking about REACH. Its main objective was to improve the farming, the market systems but also focusing on the resilience of farming households. REACH was focusing on the market-oriented, I repeat, but the focus was on the market-oriented farmers. So this does not mean that we are not looking at the farmers that grow for subsistence, but the main focus was on the farmer that are marketable to make them more commercial and lead them to different aspects of the market. In here, we're working with different partnerships. So REACH was like a one-stop shop as a product, as a project. We worked on the input side of the program, of the market, and then on the output. And we worked with, like one example that is present right now, we worked with Namakoran during REACH to ensure that we do not only promote the Dutch potato varieties to the Ugandan community, but also to ensure that we create employment for outgrowers that we linked, that worked with the Namakoran to grow these potatoes, and then eventually link them to the farmers. So the specific objectives with REACH were basically to improve the resilience and productivity of the market-oriented farmers, but also to work with agro-businesses and also improve service delivery. And the target was to reach over 40,000 farmers. By the time the program ended, we had reached, and we are still reaching, that's the ripple effect I was talking about, we are still reaching over 100,000 farmers with these interventions. These are the business models that we worked with. I have already talked about the local seed business industry. In there, we worked with NARO to ensure that we have the breeder seeds that eventually go to the local seed businesses, that now eventually has produced seed, to sell to the market, where the farmers now buy and produce where potato. We worked with rice. It was basically rice and potato, but because of the aspect of resilience, we also worked with other what we call auxiliary crops to ensure that farmers don't only sell, but they also have food for home consumption. And while doing that, we also worked with the government, in this case the ministry, to ensure that there is seed certification that happens and the regulation of new varieties, in particular potato varieties. And then with the rice, we worked with different partners to support the seed production like Kiwimba rice. The REACH is the first project that introduced the seed rice production, local seed rice production in Uganda, and that was in partnership with Kiwimba rice, which is still continuing even after REACH ended. And then from the input side, we also link the farmers who grow rice to the market, where they work with the millers and they get premium prices. While doing that, linking the farmers to market and the like, we're also doing pre-market activities. These ones were to ensure that the farmers not only have access to the seed and other agricultural products, inputs, but also to make sure that they do the good agronomic practices. Those are the pre-market activities that we used to do in REACH, organize the farmers in groups, train them in CSA, climate smart agriculture, and other good agronomic practices. We went ahead to also rehabilitate so many roads, so many kilometers of roads under REACH, to ensure that the farmer eventually has access to markets. So when I said REACH was a one-stop shop, that's what I meant. You look at the inputs, you look at the market, look at the enabling business environment to ensure that the farmer gets benefits from all these different aspects. So these are the key results that I can talk about. They are yet to come, those. So we saw that farmers were increasing yield as a result of using these good potato and rice seeds, but also employing the good agronomic practices. And we saw a big lesson we learned that we carried even to pride. A farmer would only buy seed, good seed, if they know there is a market. And that was a very, very key aspect of REACH, to ensure that the farmer has, yes, seed, they are producing good practices, but also they have a market where they eventually sell. And I've already talked about the employment that we created with these partnerships through different nodes of the value chains. We saw farmers increasing income, and not only farmers, but also there was additional income for the partners that we worked with. I can testify that all the partners we worked with also saw their turnover increasing, and eventually food security was also improving from the baseline of 55 to 62. So this is the link that I can provide for the REACH report to give you more insights, because there is a lot that happened to REACH that I cannot say in the 2 minutes, but just give you a glimpse of the work that IFDC does, Right is on the farming system. It has some aspects of market, but Rich want basically market systems development. And the fact that the effects are still continuing, that is really a good thing to talk about, that IFDC, with the support of the EKN, have managed to achieve. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Janet, for that overview. We are really running short of time. At this point, I would like to invite our country director, Samuel, who, after his presentation, will invite our partners and then the minister. Samuel, please.
Trying to check the microphone. Thank you so much. Good afternoon, and thank you for keeping it with us till this time. Very glad to be here. My name is Samuel Sempala. I like to introduce myself in most cases as a father. So beyond anything else, I'm a father. And it's always very exciting to be able to be anchoring someone else's life. So I'm a father, and that's it. So welcome, ladies and gentlemen, esteemed partners, and then our honored guests. Today marks a truly special occasion, of course, as we come together to celebrate the 50 years of IFDC. This for us is a milestone, and but also the over 12 years of our dedicated presence and impactful work that we've been doing in Uganda. Josephat here mentioned that yes, EKN brought IFDC to Uganda, and that's true. EKN is the embassy of the Kingdom of Netherlands, and they've been supporting us from the initial project of Catalyst. Josephat has been giving us so much money, or what we don't want to call it money in the development space, we call it resources and funds to support us live our vision and mission, but also help them accelerate their development strategy. So he likes to say he's a straw. We just use him to pull through the money, and then he delivers. So Joseph, thank you. Of course, and as we reflect on this journey, it is essential to acknowledge the collective efforts and unwavering support of the partners and the broader development community. All right, so we don't do this alone. And I think we are, as development space, we are shifting more away from the competition to collaboration and synergy. And with that, I'd like to recognize the presence of another development partner who does similar work like IFDC. The Country Director of Action Against Hunger is here with us. Thank you, Rita. At the core of IFDC's mission lies a simple yet profound vision: healthier souls and plants for a food secure and environmentally sustainable world. This vision is not just a lofty aspiration, it's a rallying cry that guides our everyday endeavor. We strive to bring innovative research, market expertise, and strategic partnerships to scale sustainable solutions for soil and plant nutrition, benefiting farmers, entrepreneurs, and the environment alike. Now, to put to context, our journey in Uganda is a testament of the power of collaboration and shared commitment to the agricultural development of this country. The long-standing partnership between IFDC and the different partners that I talked about, Embassy of the Kingdom of Netherlands, USAID, the US Mission, we've had work with GIZ, we recently have worked with ICP, and the other partners that we are discussing with, to say the long-standing relationship with the partners is what has enabled us. You know, and I like to say that the relationship we have with our partners is, I like that it has gone beyond just the formal emails, that we even, have discussions beyond to align whatever mission we have as an entity, but also be able to align with what they're trying to achieve as an organization. So I think that's what works. We're shifting more away from here is what USAID is looking at, and we're giving you money and go with that, to co-creation. Okay? Here are resources, but what's actually happening on the ground? What do we see, and then what intervention will really speak to supporting the actual gaps that we see on the ground? Because the donor may have the resources, but then they're not on the ground, all right? So I was mentioning that the long-standing relationship we have, and I was speaking about the different partners, starting with the EKN. EKN has funded us from the Catalyst project to REACH, which Janet has just given you an overview about, and of course, to the current Bright, which Ibrahim did an amazing job to give you an overview about. Similarly, I would like to extend my heartfelt appreciation to USAID for their enduring partnership and steadfast support. Of course, projects like this Space to Place initiative, which Matthew also did an amazing job to give you an overview about. And then, of course, the other one is the Bangladesh Climate Smart Agriculture Project, just to mention but a few. So all these interventions speak to a dedicated IFDC that is really looking towards fostering resilience and inclusive food production systems. I would also like to recognize another partner, although they've left. We've not had the opportunity to work with them directly, of course, in Uganda, CEDA, but they're also a partner of IFDC in other countries, and they're also a partner of Action Against Hunger. And so, in addition to our partners and the broader development community, I think it's also imperative that I extend gratitude to the government of Uganda for their unwavering support in creating a conducive environment for agriculture development. So, Commissioner Mwambu, in your capacity as minister, I would like to say thank you. And then I would like to recognize someone still from the ministry, a very proactive gentleman. While in the ministry we will engage formally, but also he's a brother of mine, Peter Damuzungu, who has been very instrumental in supporting the relationship of IFDC and the ministry. So thank you so much, Peter. Of course, the Ministry of Agriculture in particular has been a steadfast ally through our journey in Uganda, providing invaluable guidance, resources, and collaboration. So their commitment in advancing agriculture, innovation, and empowering smallholder farmers has been instrumental in driving our collective efforts forward. So I also like to express my deep appreciation to the National Agriculture Research Organization. Dr. Kaizi was here. You see him with gray hair, but his heart and soul are 20. Yeah, so thank you so much. I always call on him, and I have things I want to do, and I will change my mind here and there, but he still accommodates me, so thank you. So I'd like to express my sincere appreciation to NARO, and of course, your pioneering work in advancing scientific knowledge and technology transfer is very pivotal in shaping the agricultural landscape of Uganda. Together with the government, NARO, the relevant ministries, I think we stand united in our shared mission to foster healthier soils, resilient agriculture systems, and prosperous communities across Uganda. As I conclude, as we celebrate our achievement and look forward to the challenges and opportunities that lie before us, let us reaffirm our collective commitment to fostering healthier soils, resilient agriculture systems, and prosperous communities. I believe we can create a future where food security, environmental sustainability, and shared prosperity are within reach for everyone. To our partners, both present today and those supporting our efforts around the globe, I want to extend my deepest gratitude for your unwavering support and collaboration. And to the dedicated team at IFDC, whose passion and dedication drive our mission. The people who wake up every Monday morning to come to IFDC, because that's very voluntary. When you wake up and say, today I'm not coming, even if I come and stand at your door, you'll not come. So I'd like to say to the team that I lead, the team that is driving the IFDC vision and mission in Uganda, I'd like to say thank you so much. Thank you for your passion. Thank you for your dedication as we move our mission forward. Yeah. So in closing, I really want to reiterate that let us rededicate ourselves to the noble cause of agricultural development, knowing that together we can truly make a difference. Thank you so much. Yeah, so I'll use this opportunity to invite Josephat. Josephat is from EKN. And then after Josephat, we'll have a representative from USAID. And then the USAID, we will have the commissioner. All right, thank you.
Thank you so much, Samuel. And everybody here prepared something small. My brother, Commissioner Mambu, representing the Ministry of Agriculture, thanks very much for coming. Representatives of government and distinguished guests from different organizations, and all guests here present, thank you for being here. I bring you greetings from the Netherlands Embassy. We would have been here, maybe more than myself, but my colleagues were out of the country. And in fact, even the ambassador had wanted to be present, but both the ambassador, the deputy ambassador, my colleague Hans are all in the Netherlands for different reasons. But they pass their regards and congratulations to you. So at the beginning, I must say, for me, it's a pleasure to really celebrate today with you your golden anniversary of existence. And congratulations to IFDC, congratulations to you all. You know, I remember 20 years ago, I was a student somewhere, and I had an opportunity to go and do some voluntary or volunteer work in one of the states where the Hurricane Katrina had really devastated those homes. And it was in the area in Alabama. And in Alabama, then I had an opportunity to visit IFDC. And at that time, I never imagined it, that actually IFDC would come to work in Uganda. It was in existence, but it had not in any way come to work in Uganda. And that's 20 so years ago. And then later on, I come here, and yes, I did work for the Netherlands Embassy, and one of the first partners, if I remember, was IFDC. So thanks a lot for really being with us for the last 12 or so years. Here I must say that we actually, by the time you joined us, that was the time that we were introducing the agriculture and food security thematic area in the embassy. Originally, it was focusing on other things. It was focusing on governance, it was focusing on rule of law, it was focusing on human rights, education, and others, but agriculture and food security was not part of them. So IFDC became one of the first partners that we had when we were setting up this food and nutrition security program within the embassy. So I congratulate you for being a very dedicated organization that is true to your cause. Sometimes I tell people that, yes, we look so tough. They used to say, you know, these guys are really, you know, but this is what has made you. I was telling somebody that for me, I really squeeze the wound. You know the wound? I squeeze it so much that the pus comes out. And once it comes out, I'm very sure that it will not leave you the same. Unless that pus comes out, you won't hear. So sometimes I speak my mind and say, you know what? This is not right. Let the pus come out. And once it comes out, you feel the pain as the pus is getting out, but I'm sure you get healed. So over the journey, we have really worked together. So congratulations for the 50 years of existence. Thanks for the 12 years of contributing to the Uganda's vision of agricultural transformation. Really, this is a great contribution. I want to repeat many things that you have done from Catalyst to Reach Project and to even Bright today. I remember I visited one group in Kigezi where you were working with Naro on the potato. You know, you've really done very well, by the way, Mr. Commissioner, on the multiplication and cleaning of potato seed through those screen houses. You know, and they are scattered everywhere working with Naro. They helped to introduce certain varieties of potatoes from the Netherlands. They were, you know, tested in different ecological zones of this country. I think 9 of them. And we started with 21 varieties. I think at the end of the day, a few were accepted by, they are now out. They are now out there being multiplied. And I think what was that. So we congratulate you on that you have managed to even introduce a certain technology. And that way, I want to emphasize that you are really contributing to the vision of this country, president, transforming from subsistence agriculture to mass agriculture, increasing productivity and making sure that people have got money in their pocket. Well done, and I wish you, I wish you that. Of course, this year for me is not Christmas time. I have seen and we're challenged most of the local organizations here. I have seen so many NGOs now. At least for my life, I've seen some. I have seen many NGOs and most of us are in the I have not been able to celebrate their 20 years. Yeah, Uganda, I mean the local Uganda, they survive for a few years and then they give to the farm. And if you look at this organization, that's from Alabama, that has spread everywhere. How many local organizations started in Uganda and have probably spread their wings in other countries? Yeah, I mean they did that. We used to have the Geneva that bring together all those local organizations. And I am not so sure if there is an organization that has opened a branch in Nigeria, that has opened a branch in EZ, that has opened a branch in Verepa. I think all remain standing and rotating around here. So this year, I see the challenge to the local organizations here that believe, and we also look at IFT and see how we can also grow. We should not remain standing. When I struggle to, we are putting some money on the table. And when we put money on the table, to help us do more work with Uganda. Unfortunately, people have struggled. It doesn't work? Okay. Yeah, so I was telling you that we struggled to put some money on the table through call for proposals. And when we make these calls, because our package has really become big. You know, we started with small projects of maybe 5 million. We increased it to 10 million. Now we are reaching, you know, a bit big. But when we put out those calls, we would want as much as possible so to work with local indigenous organizations. But because they have not grown to the level of IFDC, the conditions actually edge them out. What am I trying to say? That you have set a challenge for the local institutions here that they should also struggle to grow and celebrate their 50 years of existence in Uganda here, and also spread to other countries as well, the way IFDC has also spread. So it's a challenge to all of us. I'm not talking now as from the Dutch embassy. I'm now talking, in my opinion, as a Ugandan, that you are setting a challenge, and people should look up to you and say, how has this indigenous organization grown from 20, 30 years ago up to 50 years, has opened branches here and there, and is doing a great work. So please, at 50 years, congratulations, thanks for that effort. I want to repeat what people have said about Catalyst and Reach, and also Bright here. But Mr. Commissioner, for your information, when people here in IFDC talk of market access, really they do. I am one of those believers that one of the easiest way of making market accessible to anybody is when you open those simple roads in the community. Once a road is constructed, once a road is repaired, once a road is improved, every product, every input actually comes there. You will see tomorrow a few shops mushrooming up. You will see tractors, not tractors, border borders bringing inputs, others sending this and that. And that's what IFDC has done. With the Catalyst, they opened it, they repaired over 60 kilometers of community roads. Really opening a road where it does not exist. That is fantastic. In Reach, I remember they opened it, they repaired, they improved over 80 kilometers of community roads in those highland areas. I mean, that's already a great contribution to market access. So well done, IFDC, for what you have done. And just I wanted to pick one of those things that you have been able to do. I must say that celebrating your achievement is extremely very good, but it's also an opportunity for you to look into the future. It's a challenge, it's a time. Yes, today you are at 50, but what does the future mean for us? And I was saying here that yes, the 50 years is a moment, is not only a moment for celebrating your gains, but it's also an opportunity and time to reflect on the challenges that still exist for your organization and for the country at large. And maybe as you ponder and look into the future, I wanted to mention one thing, that while you work on improving the soil health, for sure, the yield gap still remains big. The yield gap for our crops, whichever crop you think about in Uganda, still remains big from what it should be and what it currently is. Whether you talk of coffee, whether you talk of potatoes, whether you talk of, and that's the area where we think that IFDC can make a big contribution. So look at that. With your technologies, with your soil health improvement, with your all these things, how can you continue working to reduce the yield gap? That is still a challenge, and that is within your means, that is still your mandate. And in that way, you are still contributing not only to the National Development Plan, but still to the vision of making Uganda and our farmers become commercial farmers. That's the vision, that's the dream of this nation. I think it is also important that you probably think about, somebody was talking about ICT. I think you need to think about including the youth in some of the activities that you are doing. It's very critical that they carry over from Dr. Kaizi was already saying, my friend Mukule is going to take over. That is well done in the profession where you are. What about in the farming profession? There is still it's still an opportunity for you, IFDC, to do certain things. And many other things. Of course, the challenge of still bringing and helping the farmers to access these inputs, the markets, all those still challenges remain. You finish one, another challenge comes up. But still, I think 50 years is worth a celebration. I really want to call on you, Mr. Government, through you, Mr. Mwambu, our commissioner, that as these people contribute to the vision and mission of this country, as a ministry, you also need to give them support. You need to give them a favorable environment. You need really to work on some of those regulatory frameworks that are very important, the phytosanitation, where you fall. I mean, also ensuring that the support that goes to agriculture is very, very important. I just want to give you my simple experience. Just on Eid Day, I had, but why do we keep preaching what we don't practice? There are a few things that I do. But this time I said, why don't I venture into growing a tomato? So I put some money into tomatoes. I grew really hybrid tomatoes. 1 kilo, I think I bought it at 1.2 million Uganda shillings. Just 1 kilo. Meaning that one seed, losing it is really losing money. I started growing it, raised it very well with my knowledge. I even had to irrigate because it was during the dry period. So on Eid, I said, let me go and get the first harvest. And I called somebody, these guys who said, they call them plies, these boxes. These boxes, the guy comes to my little garden and he says, the price has been going up and down. And as we talk now, the price is about 200,000 Uganda shillings a ply. I said, that's fine. Then he goes to the garden, they begin harvesting. They heap this ply, what is outside the ply is almost 2 times more than what is inside there. I said, okay. Then I said, can we measure this ply? And this guy said, no, for us here in Uganda, we don't measure. No, I just want to know how many kilograms you are taking. And then from there, I know how much money actually goes to the farmer. Just on Eid a few days ago. And the guy said, no, for us, when we take them, we put in baskets. It's only in the Kigezi where they measure in kilograms. I said, no, I still want to know. So I had a big weighing scale. This one is the digital, which can measure even 1,000 kilograms. So we carried this whole box and put it on this scale. The thing was weighing 250 kilograms. I said, okay, let me make an assumption that this box is weighing 50 kilograms, which is way too much. I said, so the contents in the box are 200 kilograms. 200 kilograms for 200,000 shillings. How much money is that per kilo that is going to the farmer? Quick mathematics. How much is that? How much is that? Are you sure? Emitwala abiri for 200,000. It's only 100 shillings per kilo that the farmer gets. 100 shillings per kilo at the farm. 100 shillings, Mr. Commissioner. Just 100 shillings per kilo. And I said, when will this farmer, who is me now, when will this farmer ever graduate from being subsistence? And then I went to the market. I said, how much does a kilo go for? Who bought tomatoes yesterday? How much is a kilo? You can't know. How much? How much? 3,000. You pay a farmer 100 shillings. 100. It does not even buy one seed. Because as I told you, I bought a seed at 1.2 million. And you are giving the farmer 100 shillings per kilo. Is it? Yes. 200 kilos. Oh, really? Does it reach? Okay. So my mathematics is wrong. Okay. Okay. That is even a fair improvement. If it is really 1,000. Sorry? Well, it's fair now. It is from 100 to 1,000. But what I was trying to say is that the price that a farmer receives is still too low. You have put in irrigation, you have put in all those things, and the farmer still gives that. Now, this is a challenge that we need to all work towards too. As I conclude, I must say I really thank you, Mr. Commissioner and the Minister of Agriculture, for supporting IFDC. I thank the partners that have worked with IFDC, who have worked with them for this journey in Uganda so far for 12 years, and in the world for 50 years. And I wish you, of course, the best future and the best of luck. And I really want to thank the staff of IFDC. I started with, who is Celine? Is Selina here? Celine? Yes. I remember when we started IFDC, she's one of the originals, and some drivers. I don't know who else was there. Yes, of course, the driver, yes. So congratulations for really being dedicated and contributing your energy and effort to make sure that things happen. As somebody said, for us, we simply give you money, but you turn this money into tangible results that you have been seeing here. Congratulations for that. I wish you many good years ahead, and I want you to continue being exemplary in your agricultural development work. Thank you, and thank you very much.
Mr. Josephat, before you go away, thank you so much for your remarks. That one of our partners has already left. We would like to request you to invite our guest of honor this afternoon. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Hello? Yes, thanks so much. And with those many words that I have said, I have been given a duty which I will happily do. Can I invite my brother, Mr. Commissioner Mwambu, representing the Minister of Agriculture, to come and say your words to the team. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Josephat. Colleagues from the academia, I can recognize my own brother from EKN, Josephat, the great team of IFDC, the representatives from the different ministries, departments, and agencies, colleagues from the Ministry of Agriculture and Industry and Fisheries, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. Good afternoon. I'll begin by thanking FDC for really inviting us to be part of this great event, because we have walked the journey together. And I would like to pass over our sincere apologies from the Minister, Honorable Dr. Bright Ramirama, who was supposed to be here in person. But as you are aware, this event had the rescheduling, and it found that on this particular date, he's out of the country. He's in Morocco, trying to negotiate market access of Ugandan milk and milk products in Morocco. So he sent you greetings, and he chose that I come and represent him at this event. And the colleagues, rest assured that the choice was not a bad one, as you're going to discover shortly. Please clap for me for that one. So, colleagues, apart from representing the Honorable Minister at this event, substantively, I am a commissioner in the Ministry of Agriculture, Animal Industry and Fisheries. And my role in the ministry rotates around 3 core areas. I regulate seed for all plants, in the sense of true seed, like beans and maize, but also vegetatively propagated seed, including cuttings, vines, and seedlings. I also regulate agricultural chemicals. These are either plant protection products, which we sometimes call pesticides, but also fertilizer, which is for providing nutrients to the plants. Then lastly, I regulate plant health. Plant health in the sense that exportation and importation of any plant is human consumption. So colleagues, it's based on that you discover that the minister was not wrong to ask me to represent him in his absence. Very related to what IFDC and partners have been doing in this space. Under embassy, that we have been interfacing, engaging. We recognize some few very good aspects about the design of the projects under support from the Netherlands Embassy. We applaud the design that includes the following aspects. One is the collaborative approach. Indeed, it is true that there is synergy you get out of collaboration, and we see this in most of the projects which are supported under EKN. Participatory planning, a very good virtue, because you work with the final beneficiaries, and then they will input their thinking in what you want to do. The value chain approach, rather than just addressing a small aspect in what you want to do, trying to work with the communities along the way until the final product is out, either for consumption or for the market. And I want to tell you that you have contributed greatly in this respect in the way we think at the Ministry of Agriculture. Today, we are not only promoting productivity increase, we are also now, as a ministry, involved in addressing what we call road chokes. That you will find us now in the space of addressing especially bottlenecks that limit farmers to access inputs, but also to market their products. And it became a big question as to why the Ministry of Agriculture should have a budget on roads, and we justified it. And I believe that some of this thinking was borrowed from the interventions that you have been doing, that informed us, and now we are deliberately involving that. And our approach is we don't go for the roads, making the roads. We look at, for example, either a broken bridge or a certain swamp that is separating a community from the market where they just need a quick connection and it makes sense, and or a very severely degraded road that has made it impassable, and we make sure we correct that. So in that respect, we want to thank you for the collaboration we've had together. We have learned some lessons, and you can see that it is informing our action. We also applaud most of your interventions you've had in anchoring the interventions on soil. Because remember, most of the plants don't grow, plants don't grow in air, they grow on soil. And therefore, if you do not address the deficiencies therein, then the output will not be good. So that also, we applaud it. We further applaud your approaches of focusing on resilience by providing options to the farmers as you are promoting production of, say, beans, but you're also making an intervention in bananas and coffee, that in case of failure in one or two of them, the farmer still has an option to survive, and that is really applauded. The sustainability approaches, the targeting of increasing productivity, and I think with that, colleagues, let's give a round of applause to IFDC. Thank you very much. So, colleagues, we stand here to affirm that indeed the resources from EKN that has been passed over to some of these interventions, we want to affirm that we have worked together, for instance, under IFDC, to approve the introduced varieties of potato. We worked very closely, and I don't see my friends. There were two Davids. One was David Slane, another one was David. They used to confuse me. But we worked very closely, and as you may be aware, I am secretary to the National Seed Board. So I was involved, and I had a lot of passion. I was involved in monitoring the national performance trials of these varieties in Kabale and in Buginyanya in Mount Elgon. And I was involved in the process of approving some of these varieties. There were many, I think there were over 20, and I think we approved over 14, because there's an approval process we go through, checking for the distinctiveness, the uniformity and stability, and we want to applaud IFDC for this great initiative. And you saw in the report of Mr. Sempala, the country director, you saw how by using improved varieties, the contribution it made in increasing the yield. I think it was over 80%, and that's really applauded. I also want to affirm, especially to you, EKN, that this was value for money. I was involved in the process of writing to URA requesting for a waiver for the cold storage facility for seed potato in a facility, I think, around Masaka or Mubende. Where? Masaka. And we believe this has made a great contribution to availing seed at the right time. So, colleagues, those were my own words of my knowledge to assure you that we have collaborated, to give you evidence that we have worked together. That is now was in my capacity as the commissioner in charge of that mandate. Now, permit me to move to read the speech for the Honorable Minister, Therefore, I now proceed to become a minister. So, but only up to the end of this function, as you are aware. So, colleagues, it is with great pleasure and honor that I stand before you today as we gather to celebrate a significant milestone in the realm of agriculture. I extend my heartfelt gratitude to the International Fertilizer Development Center, Uganda, for extending to me the privilege of being the guest of honor at their 50th anniversary Open Day event. As we convene here today, we are not merely commemorating 50 years of remarkable achievements. We are also reaffirming our commitment to the noble cause of advancing agriculture in Uganda. The agricultural sector is not only the backbone of our economy, but also a crucial lifeline for millions of fellow citizens, particularly the smallholder farmers who toil tirelessly to feed our nation. The theme of today's event, focusing on celebrating achievements, embracing collaboration, encapsulates the essence of our collective journey thus far and charts a course for our future endeavors. It is a testament to the power of collaboration and partnership in driving sustainable agricultural development. I commend IFDC Uganda for their unwavering dedication to supporting the objectives of the Ministry of Agriculture, Animal Industry, and Fisheries. Please clap for them. Their efforts in promoting sustainable agricultural practices and improving the livelihoods of smallholder farmers are truly commendable. As we look ahead, it is imperative that we redouble our efforts to address the challenges facing our agricultural sector. Climate change, soil degradation, and access to markets are but a few of the hurdles that lie ahead. However, I am confident that with collective action and innovative solutions, we can overcome these challenges and usher in a new era of prosperity for Ugandan agriculture. To the stakeholders gathered here today, I urge you to seize this opportunity to forge new partnerships and collaborations that will amplify our impact and drive positive change. Let us work together, hand in hand, to build a brighter and more sustainable future for generations to come in our country. Colleagues, in conclusion, I would like to express my sincere appreciation to IFDC Uganda for organizing this auspicious event and for their tireless efforts in advancing the cause of agriculture. Let us continue to work together with passion, with dedication and perseverance to realize our shared vision of a prosperous and food secure Uganda. Congratulations, IFDC. I thank you. For God and my country.
Thank you so much, Honorable Minister. Before you leave the position of being a minister, we are requesting for a group photo from where you are, please. Dear team, we shall all gather here in front. Our events organizers can help us organize this space. Kingland Press, where are you?
Was I supposed to declare the meeting closed or open?
We shall close with the cutting of the cake. For now, you're still a minister, Honorable Minister. Dear, dear team, let's all come in front, especially IFDC's branded staff, please. Thank you so much. The rest of the participants kindly join in our group photo. Please. Don't leave yet. The team, the other people had remained behind, but we need one group photo as well. Dennis, I can see you're trying to take a photo, but you have photographers. Please join the team. So from here we shall come to this desk for the cutting of the cake. Honorable Minister, Country Director, please, let's cut the cake and then we have our official end of the evening. Dear colleagues, IFDC team, no, it's all over. Okay, let's all head here for the cut caking. Evelyn Grace, please.
Listen. Listen, them say, them tell you say you can never be the one. But God say, make I tell you say now you him choose in 1 month, in 1 week. You will sing a new song in 2 days, lesser than